Sup, Eli?
Hey, dude, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm playing The Walking Dead, and just a couple spoiler alerts here. We're gonna play through the first big decision. We're gonna play up to it, and that should be about like 15 minutes into the game. So just buckle up for that. So you're gonna see the opening and all that jazz.
Spoilers.
Also, this is being played on an iPad 3, and I played through the entire episode 1 earlier today, and it runs perfectly fine.
Well, that's awesome. That's great news.
But, it might... I mean, Telltale game, so it's hard to tell. So maybe if you run this on an iPad 2, it's not so great. But, I don't know. On new iPad, good times.
If you don't have a new iPad, you should buy one anyway, because the Retina display is awesome.
Totally.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, it's beautiful. It's great. Not so much with this game. It looks like they really toned it down. This is kind of like the Mac version on medium settings, almost. But with a couple, like, background elements taken out. It looks like they really simplified it.
Well, that's understandable.
No, absolutely. I mean, it still looks great. I mean, it has this cartoony style to begin with, so it's not like you're going to be missing any assets here. So, actually, this game takes place alongside the comics. So, everybody's doing their Atlanta thing. Ranger Rick is waking up from the hospital, while Lee here, our protagonist, is being driven to a prison.
Some pretty big spoilers right there.
Doing it. Because spoilering it up, if that's a word.
Well, I reckon
a couple new things in this version too, from like the Mac and PC and XBLA and PSN and all the rest of the versions of the game. New UI, setup right there. You just click on the dialog box to respond.
But I reckon it's a lot like assuming.
Another
thing, button based on consoles, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And on PC, it's kind of like it's just a totally different kind of like UI assortment. New in-game contextual clues as well, specifically made for like the iPad's touch and swipe and stuff like that.
That's cool.
One thing I really love about this game is the fact that you can use silence as a viable conversation option. You don't see that in a lot of video games at all.
I'm actually kind of impressed by the amount of branching options there are in this game series. I mean, like, they were explaining it to us at E3, and that, like, there's just all these calculations taking place behind the scenes based on, like, every single one of your answers.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, dude, like, the how you would write the script for something like that kind of just blows my mind.
It would be tough, especially like in this episode. There are a couple of big-time decisions that you make that, I mean, literally life and death. So, episode 2, theoretically, you're going to be dealing with one character or the other, and that's how divergent the paths are. I mean, that's hardcore.
Well, they were showing us, what we got was a preview of episode 2. I think it was on the PC, but anyway, they were showing that, like, the way the game carries over, like, even the scenery and background and things will change depending on your decisions you made in the first game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, that's a lot more than what I assumed.
Yeah, like, I'm not to get too spoilery, but like one instance they gave is like apparently there's like an event that takes place at a certain thing, and depending on what you do, like there could be a fire, explosion, nothing could happen, and like when you revisit that place, that like decision, has repercussions.
Oh wow.
Like, there might be something in the room that you can't get now because it's like burnt up or...
Oh, crazy. I like that.
Stuff like that. Yeah, I was actually extremely impressed, because a lot of times it feels like these episodic games, they're a continuation, but, I mean, like, look at, like, the Mass Effect games, like, it almost felt like they were, there's very little to do with each other in regards to, like, continuing your progress.
Right, yeah, absolutely. It felt fake, especially with like the Rex decision and things like that.
Right.
Because it was either just Rex or a dude who talked just like Rex.
And I'm really curious to see how this series plays out, because it seems like more than ever Telltale is putting a lot of effort into making sure that, you have those like butterfly effects of like tiny decisions that turn into big things.
And this is where their game development schedule can hurt them too, because I mean they literally make these things up to the wire. I mean they have 30 days to make each the next video game.
Well, it's just crazy to think. I mean, like, so if you have all these divergent paths and, like, and this is just an example, like, if something you say in this cop car, like, comes back to, like, bite you in, like, episode 5, I mean, just imagine how many different outcomes episode 5 actually needs to have. Oof.
That's a nightmare. That's what that sounds like.
That's kind of mind-blowing to me. I mean, I'm great that they figured out how to do it, I guess, but I don't know.
I got another good one for you.
So, by the way, no virtual stick in this this version of the game. By the way, oh, zombie! So just like the comic book, this is what I love the most about the series so far is things happen, and they happen quickly, and everything goes wrong, like on just a snap of your fingers.
So we were kind of talking over, but I mean, you want to give cliff notes of essentially like where we are and what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're playing as what looks like a convict named Lee. He got in some trouble, and he's actually getting driven to a prison here by this cop guy. Cop guy believes he didn't actually do it just because of like how Lee was acting in the car. He wasn't like blubbering like a baby or anything like that. Zombie in the middle of the road. Nobody knows that zombies are a thing, and they crashed. And here you are, as Lee, finding his first zombie and surviving now with a broke-ass leg. Or cut-up leg, one of the two. I forgot. Cut. He's cut. And he's thirsty, apparently.
I've heard that the comics and the games are a little bit better than the show in regards to just complex character motivations and stuff like that.
No, you're absolutely right. But I mean, at the same time, like the comics are so brief, and I'm gonna get some flack for this. Like, I mean, like the comic books take like 10 seconds to read total. So I mean, it's not like there's a bunch of depth to go through anyway.
Well,
but,
I mean, I guess it depends like how you read comic books.
Yeah.
You know, like I know like people that are really into comic books that'll like, you know, really analyze like every cell and stuff like that. Right. Which I mean, I've never, you know, like when I read a comic book, I read the text and skim, you know.
Yeah, same here.
Which I don't know if that's the right way.
I'm sure somebody is screaming right now. Us this is how you do it.
This series kind of reminds me of the movie Contagion in that it like seems to be a fairly plausible reality. Mm-hmm. Like so many zombie games, and you know, similarly so many like Outbreak movies. You know, they just seem so silly and far fetched and stuff like that. Yeah,
you know, I like the and this is probably a massive spoiler if you haven't watched the show. I don't think the comics dealt with this like in like.
Let's avoid show spoilers.
You sure? All right, I was just gonna talk about how zombies are made.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. That could be pretty spoilery.
Okay. All right. Well, on the subject of that, one thing I really like about this game is how it plays off of your expectations. Like this scene in particular, right here. Go investigate the cop who has just died and dragged himself and looks pretty rugged. You know, it's just like grab these keys off this thing that might be a zombie. Now hover around it.
Well, I mean, at this point, do you have any reason to think that he would be a zombie?
Maybe. I mean, you saw one earlier, and I mean, you pick up The Walking Dead and know it's about zombies, right? And like that's kind of what I mean. Like it's like, oh no, you dropped the keys by his mouth. Now deal with that. You know, like it's a neat kind of nod at like, you know, hey, we know that you're playing a zombie game and you know it too, so we're gonna mess around with that a little bit.
Officer.
A lot of action scenes, a lot more than usual for a Telltale game, kind of like building off that Jurassic Park model, which didn't really work out so well.
Yeah,
a lot of puzzles in the game actually are completely revolve around action elements, as opposed to like take this walkie-talkie and cut it in half and combine it with a rubber chicken to make a rope.
Well, what I thought was cool about this game, it felt like there's like so much more urgency into what you're doing.
Yep.
You know, like. I mean, I guess I don't know if we'll see in the video, but there's parts where you like need to decide like what to do like now.
Yep.
You can't like sit there and be like, I don't know. If I do this, maybe this will happen. Like you just gotta like do it.
Yeah. There's a lot like that, and,
which I feel like a lot of these kind of like adventure games have a very laid back pace in regards to that. You know.
Mm-hmm. Even the dialogue has a timer on it, and that's why I like the silence command so much too. Because I mean, you have a limited time to answer. If you can't think of a good one, be quiet. Let other people figure it out.
Right.
Lee looks pretty freaked out.
Oh, zombies.
Uh-oh. Lee stumbles a lot too, I've noticed. This guy is kind of a klutz.
Well, didn't you just say his leg was broken?
Yeah, but I mean, come on. We'll see him slip a couple more times too. This is this is actually like a 2.5 hour or so adventure as well, so you're going to be getting quite a bit for your $4.99. I guess we should mention at some point too, while we is running away from a bunch of the Walking Undead here, that you can buy the rest of the series, which is a 5-episode series, for $14.99, which is like 25% off or something like that, or you can buy them individually as they come out for $4.99.
So you can buy that now in game, like pre-order all the episodes.
Yep.
I wonder if that's part of the reason of why this took so long.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too, and I almost wonder if they got somebody else to do this too, because it is different enough to make me kind of think that somebody else may have fiddled with this.
Yeah, I mean, I meant more along the lines of like sweet talking Apple to, you know, I mean, because Apple has to approve in-app purchase stuff too.
Right. No, you're right.
You know?
I mean, it's a sweet deal. I mean, $15 for the entire series, and you know, a lot of people just fall off the wagon. But I mean, if you go ahead and buy this now as like a season pass, essentially, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't. You'll actually get around episode 3 at some point, especially if you bought it.
Well, that kind of makes me kind of worried about that. As I wonder if the pre-order thing is just going to make people more impatient because they've already bought it.
It's a possibility. I would assume that this was the hard part here, getting out that first episode and the entire shell, because you buy each episode within this episode. This is actually Walking Dead the game, not necessarily Walking Dead episode 1.
Coming in. Don't shoot, okay?
I wonder how they're doing that from a technical perspective. Like, how crazy would it be if the entire episode or the entire game was actually in this?
Well,
it's just like slowly unlocking it.
That's true. Well, they can also update the app from the app itself. It looks like they're actually circumventing the normal Apple update structure. Like, it connects to a server when you first start up the game, and I guess there'll be a day 1 update for this that'll be delivered through that.
Huh.
See?
Yeah.
My man's not so good at walking. And this is me controlling it. There's no on-screen kind of cue here. I just want to kind of express that.
Search in drawers.
That's right.
This walkie-talkie will be useful.
What's kind of funny is I've played this game three times. XBLA, PC, Mac build, and also this. So I'm getting pretty good at this part of the game.
Do you feel like the outcome is different?
Yeah, I've seen a couple different outcomes, but I mean, ultimately, these are smaller decisions in the game. They all basically shake out the same. Like you can kind of see how they're protecting themselves from having to make something too incredibly divergent out of like every little thing you do.
Right. I mean, I wonder. I mean, because obviously you have different game saves over different devices. Like, I wonder if by the time this is all finished, if you will have very different experiences.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, Miley, my personal game that I finished, is an asshole who's revealed nothing about his past. So really, my story is beginning to, because the other characters know my past, they just knew about it, and I won't reveal how. But I mean, like, it's kind of like this weird antagonistic relationship now. When someone knows about me, I kind of want to get rid of them. And I think that colors the game quite a bit. It's pretty neat.
Please let me know that you're safe.
And that was just my option. Like, I could just freely tell people, hey, this is why I'm a convict. And that would change. That would change, like, the tone of how I would play.
Call the police.
I just think it's so cool that games like this exist now. I mean, like, I look back to games like Knights of the Old Republic, that were originally, everyone, or I guess not everyone, the developers boasted about, like, the rich system of choosing, how your character is going to be aligned and stuff, but like really it made almost no difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's some hokey binary thing. Even if it were to make a difference, it'd be like good or bad points. And this game, for episode 1, I haven't played episode 2 yet. There's a lot of choices, and none of them are good or bad. I mean, they're really good at like kind of like straddling that line, like let's say The Witcher did, which is everything's gray.
I'm here.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Does this have the I don't remember what they called it, like the expert mode or whatever, where they don't give you the cues of what the other person, like what the effect of your decision was right away?
I forgot to check. I bet they do. I mean, that would be real easy, because all you have to do is take care of that text.
I thought that seemed like a really neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
At the end of your play as well, kind of like LA Noire, it'll tell you exactly what people have chosen as well, so you can kind of get like a statistical build of like 49% of people chose this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm outside in my treehouse. They can't get in.
And right here, we're talking to a young girl who's in a treehouse. You know, we were kind of talking over the message, but it appears that her parents are dead. They're stuck in Savannah, Georgia, which is pretty close to where I live.
Savannah's a pretty cool place.
It is. It is. I like a college town.
They have a lot of waterfront daiquiri bars. Basically, I mean, that's all I need.
Yeah, a lot of waterfront stuff. And right there, you just saw some of the more the end games. This guy likes falling down. The contextual stuff. So I mean, there's a swipe, and like you tap on the screen a lot whenever something's climbing on top of you. And you could die in these parts too. I mean, it's pretty hard with this one particularly. But later in the game, it actually gets a lot more challenging. You have to really execute well and fast.
So where are the penalties of death like in this game? Then?
Just restart. I mean, it autosaves constantly. So I mean, you lose almost no progress.
Great.
Yeah. Excuse me, little girl. Let me destroy your baby.
Excuse me while I beat this woman.
Interesting thing about this game that really caught my attention. Right there, she's dead. Right? But I can keep going. And now the game's like, look at what you did. Look at it. Yeah. Horrifying stuff. I mean, it really is. Like, you know, I played this so many times, and we're kind of half joking, talking over this. But I mean, when you play this by yourself, like, it's... I don't know. Like, that scene really kind of bothered me. Because I was just like, man, I just tore up a person with a hammer.
Did you kill it?
And the rest of the game is pretty much you and this little girl trying to survive, and it's kind of a neat relationship because you can choose to be kind of like not a father figure, or you can choose to really kind of like take her under your wing. It's really kind of up to you how your relationship plays out, and the dialogue reflects that too.
I saw the ripple effects of that in episode 2.
Oh, really?
It's really neat how it plays out. Yeah.
I want my parents to come home now.
I think that might be a little while, you know?
Oh.
Look, I don't know what happened, but I'll look after you until then.
What should we do now?
This is the first decision that really, like, depending on what you choose, you can go in the night or during the day, and we'll leave it here because I think that's a good taste. I mean, you got a sense of the dialogue system, the UI, the contextual stuff. That's The Walking Dead. Works well on iPad. Hopefully it works well on iDevices as well. We'll give those a run. You know, have some fun with them.
Looks awesome. I'm so glad this is finally out.
Yeah, me too, man. So if you got $4.99, you got a hankering for some episodic gaming and zombies. I think this is it. I think you want this.
Definitely get it.